Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast dedicated to helping you find the right wine for the right vibes. On this episode, we review
the 2021 Joel Gott 815 Cabernet Sauvignon.
Awesome. Welcome back to the show. My name is Joel. I am, of course, joined by the amazing Aaron and Colin. We are your wine guides this evening as we tackle Big Brand Week. Guys, how are we feeling about this? Going back to the big names, something familiar, something you've seen on the shelves, probably just walking on by in this supermarket somewhere. I don't know. These are big ones that you've seen before. How are you guys feeling?
Good, great. We've talked about this so many times. As much as we want to constantly find those hidden gem wines, the reality is our listeners are from all over the place, and there are wines that some of us can find and some of us can't. And there are going to be times we need to just grab a wine from the supermarket, and there are definitely wines that you can always find. So we gotta go through those too and figure out which of them are worth it.
Aaron, I think you absolutely nailed it. But I'm also glad we're getting back into some California Cab. I have a preconceived notion about what, let's call it, value. And I mean value, we're talking price here.
Sure.
California Cab is in my head. I hate to say I've prejudged this. I haven't prejudged it, but I do have an idea of what this might taste like already, having had a whole bunch of cheaper California Cab before, So I'm hoping this is a little bit different.
I saw a meme recently that was like the 5 most overrated wines, and like California Cab was like right up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe, especially at the cheap end, it's usually super fake tasting and not that good. You can tell there was very little love put into it usually. But, back to the big brands, that's what people usually have access to, unfortunately.
And I think we found a nice little balance here. Obviously, one of probably our main mission outside of, finding the value and the good wines at reasonable prices is exploring all the grapes that people don't usually explore. I think that remains a pillar of what we're doing. But I mean, at the same time, like, we got to go. These brands are around. People know them. And I am hoping that we find maybe a diamond in the rough here and there. We find some surprises, or we just have more to kind of compare all these amazing other brilliant, smaller produced wines to. And it just kind of helps to form our tastes and our profile as we go.
Nothing wrong with the popular grapes either, Like, they're popular for a reason. So let's try them.
It would be snobbish and ridiculous to say that literally every wine at the supermarkets is bad, right? Like, it would just be unreasonable to assume that just because you can find it at a supermarket, at your large liquor store. Where did you guys get your bottle today?
I got mine. I think I could have gone to the grocery store. I got mine at the small liquor store.
Yeah, I got mine at the national retailer. Let's call it.
Yeah.
At the national retailer. Yeah.
So, but it's everywhere. I think, Colin, you said, you might be able to find this one at a gas station here and there. Like, I think it is that widespread. So, wouldn't that be nice if we try this and we're like, hey, you know what? This is actually pretty decent. If you're in a pinch and you're by a 7-Eleven, go for it, But we'll see, guys. We're not saying that yet. Yeah,
for sure.
And that's a terrifying concept. Hi, come to our show and we'll send you to a 7-Eleven. Like, we're sorry. If you're new to our show, please trust us. We're going to work through this in the most thoughtful way possible.
Yes. This is not our only avenue now moving forward, okay? We're not doing a hard pivot into this, but it is an area that we want to explore. So, speaking of, let's talk a little bit about what's on the docket today, because I think this is going to be a fun one. We'll talk a little bit more about this Joel Gott Cabernet, share a little bit of the details. We'll talk, that's right. We'll talk a little bit about Joel Gott in general. We'll do a little learning. And if there's time, we'll play a little game. We'll see. I don't know. We got a tight timeline today, so I don't know if we're going to be able to fit it in, but we'll see.
The only thing I have to say is I hope Joel got us a good Cabernet, because this was his thing. I'll be here all episode, folks. Stick around.
I'm sad that happened. But also, that's exactly what I wanted to happen.
100%.
I knew that was going to happen. And I would like to mark that was 6 minutes and 14 seconds into the recording of
I know,
this.
almost disappointing.
Listen, I've been sitting on that since you told me this is what we're drinking.
Well done. That must have just been burning a hole
Oh, man, you have no
your
idea.
brain.
You have
Now
no
it
idea.
lives in the world, and you could feel better about your joke.
Listen.
Hey, Aaron, do me a favor. Tell everybody a little bit more about this wine that we're drinking today.
So as we have now said to everyone, we have the Joel Gott, which is a major winery. Started back in 1996. It is massive. They sell millions of bottles, and they can be found everywhere. Fun fact, they're owned by the same company that owns Sutter Homes, Menage a Trois, Napa Cellars. Like, it's all the same.
That's wild.
Portfolio. It's huge.
Yeah.
So we're drinking the 2021. It's the 815 Cabernet Sauvignon, obviously from California, and this has a 13.9% ABV and runs you around $14. You'll probably get within $2 of that, depending on whether you're going to like a massive, wine focused store or grabbing it from, a supermarket.
Anybody, by the way, investigate why it's the 815 Cabernet Sauvignon?
I did, Joel. It refers to the birthday of Joel and Sarah Gott's daughter.
The founders of the Joel Gott Vineyard Winery, at least.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's adorable.
That is adorable.
They gave their newborn child wine.
Well, when you say it like that, that's a little scary.
Yeah, probably not.
They named their daughter after wine. What?
No.
Not correct.
No.
That's false.
Okay.
And so this was my pick as well. And I am truly glad, Colin, that you already made the first Joel joke. My reasons for doing this, it was big brand week, and I've never had the Joel Gott, and I see it all the time because I don't know if you guys know this, but that's my name. So it catches my eye. I've never had it. That is my only reason for picking this one today. I know very little about it. I did no investigation. So I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that this is all right.
Love it.
That's fair.
That's a great
I mean, I
reason.
think that's, man, I mean, when we think about big brands, like, I definitely have some hopes of what we're not going to experience, right? Like, it's just like, we've had some big brands. You get that super artificial oakiness, that super over the top artificial, like cherry or something like that, and just everything kind of like punched you in the face, the weird imbalance of alcohol. Like, we've just had so many bad experiences when it comes to highly sold and produced wines. So I'm a little nervous about that.
Agreed. Colin, what are you nervous about getting into this big brand wine today?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Aaron. I think at this price point, California Cab, I've just been burned so many times, hoping just not to get burned again.
With that high alcohol.
Exactly. I was gonna say literally burned. Yeah. Also, you know what I always worry about is the overwhelming sweater teeth. I feel like you can get that with those California cabs where it's just like the mouthfeel is just like blah, and it's like you can feel it on your teeth, and it's just so not pleasant. So
100%.
really hoping we don't experience that today, but we'll see. Speaking of, should we go ahead and get into this thing and start seeing what we're dealing with here?
Let's not delay the inevitable. Let's experience some wine.
Tastes like wine.
All right. Colin, you want to go first?
Sure. The first thing I notice is the alcohol. I mean, really get the alcohol right up the nose. And then some of the classic Cabernet dark fruits, I think, maybe some dark plum. That's really most of what, and then, I'll leave it there. But those are the two things. The alcohol and the dark plum are the things that I'm getting right off the bat.
Aaron?
I mean, maybe the aerator helps a little bit. The alcohol's not getting me as bad. It's definitely there, but I think I am getting a lot more of like the oakiness, maybe some of those baking spices that Colin's talked about in the past. Definitely plum, maybe a little bit of strawberry, but the alcohol's not as overbearing as I was worried it is. So there is some other stuff going on.
I kind of agree with you Aaron, actually. And strawberry, I think, is a good call. Cherry, I think, is in there too. It's the only other red fruit. And I will say, I was expecting it to be like oaky to the face. I don't think that it is necessarily. Like, there's more to me, it's more fruity than it is oak influency. So, you know, pleasantly surprised to not be getting hit in the face with that aspect. So,
And I will say,
I'll take it.
based on some other mass-produced wines we've had in the past, one of the things I'm most nervous about, along with that high alcohol smell, is that almost medicinal eucalyptusy smell that we've had in the past with some of those mass wines, and that's not there at all. So that was like a little bit of a,
I might
wipe the
disagree with
brow
that.
off. Are you getting it? I'm not
Yeah,
getting
that's.
it. But
I was gonna say one of the other flavor notes I was gonna mention was I'm definitely getting kind of a mentholy note. I don't know if that's just the alcohol,
maybe.
but it's definitely something in there that reminds me. But it's not like I wouldn't say it's bad, right?
Yeah.
It's not overbearing or anything like that. It's not like gross. Like
It's not like the
like
overly
we've seen it in
artificial
the
one that
past.
where like when someone poured in
That's
the little drips
that's
of,
what I was
of
gonna say.
menthol to like add
For
the,
sure.
the flavor,
100%.
Yeah.
I do get it
Yeah.
though, but you're right. It's not that weird medicinal menthol.
It is so hard to explain for the folks that didn't experience that episode with us when we opened that bottle. Was
You
it
guys
Merlot?
were
It was the Carmen Merlot.
blown
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. That Carmen Merlot was just like rocking our brains.
Very
But
strange.
I'm always fear of that.
The other thing I'll say is just smelling it. The oak profile on this is very different than what I would expect out of cheaper California Cabernet Sauvignon. It's usually like that super intense American oak that just kind of beats you over the head with the oak. This at least smells a lot more refined than that. It'll be interesting to taste. While oak definitely plays a major influence on the nose, it's not as nearly as intense as I was expecting it to be. So it'll be interesting to see if that carries onto the palate.
Let's give this thing a taste. Let's see. Interesting. Colin, I'll go back to you.
Yeah, so the one thing I noticed about the sip is it hits you with a ton of flavor up front, but then it all kind of goes away really quick. Like you get like a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of the stuff that we called out, I think was really good with that. Some of those baking spices from the oak, some of those dark fruits. I think the plum, strawberry, I really like. Joel, I think you said cherry. I think you could absolutely find that in there. But then it kind of fades, and then you're left with I don't know if it's that menthol or that alcohol thing, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not as flavorful as the initial sip was.
Yeah, you took
Yeah.
the words right out of me, Colin. There's a thinness at the end that I was not expecting. When you pour this, like, what you feel like is going to be a big, bold, high alcohol red, like it's there, and then it kind of thins out, and then you're just left with the tannins and that final whatever that is at the end. It's not terrible, but it's kind of surprising how quick the fruity flavors just kind of escape and leave you wanting more.
I feel like I've been doing this the whole time, but I'm going to talk about what's not in here, though, again. And happy to say, like we've been calling out, I'm not getting a lot of that, fakey, oaky, over the top.
Sure.
Definitely not, because I agree with what you're saying. It's a little thin. So, but no sweater teeth. So happy with those aspects of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, the structure is pretty nice actually. Like I think the tannin works well. It's not too intense. This wine is a couple of years old, so maybe it's had a little bit of time in bottle to smooth out a little bit. But the acid is interesting. It doesn't play a huge role. Like it's not as big, honestly, as I would expect. And now that's probably because they were going for drinkability. So there's some things you can do in the winery to make it more drinkable. So maybe that's what we're experiencing. But overall, I'm pleased with the balance of most of the structure. Anyway, I think the alcohol is still a little bit off. Honestly, I'm getting more maybe than you guys are, but the acid, the tannin, body even are all relatively well balanced.
I don't know if I'd want to recommend decanting like a $14 bottle of wine, but I bet if you decanted it, it would probably help with the alcohol. You know what I mean? Like, you just pour out your Joel Gott, and it's like a fancy crystal decanter, and go from there.
No, I mean, I don't think that's a bad call. But it is interesting. I mean, I guess it's certainly not low, but it's not high. It's 13.9% alcohol. on
Sure.
this.
No,
you
that's
know?
not crazy. No.
Yeah. It's wild that it has such an impact. I guess because everything else is, like we keep saying, like a little thin. So that's the thing that has the staying power out of everything that we've called. That's the only thing that has the staying power. So it's a highlight at the end.
And look, and that was the cancer thing was a joke, but also at the same time, it's like a
Yeah.
good note to be like, look, if you can get this bottle and it's cheap and there's a thing that you can do to it to fix the flaw of the cheap wine, right? If it's like if the flaw is that the alcohol hits a little heavy, then like decant it. And if you can adjust that one feature, like that might help.
It might
I
not
think that's
either.
fair.
It might just be a no, it's
Or
like
not.
not. It's no, it's not that that's a bad idea, but the alcohol just might be out of balance, and that just might be the wine. It doesn't matter how much decanting.
Yeah.
It might just not help.
Sure. All right, let's put this aside for a moment. Let's have a brief moment. Listener, you guys just go ahead and do whatever you want for a second. We have to talk about something. Guys, I see on the show notes, it still says wine nuggets. And I will be damned if I'm going to do another show where I say the words wine nuggets together. So we got to take a minute right now, figure out what we're going to change the name of this to. What are we doing?
We've gotten some feedback from listeners sending messages. They're not happy with it. Wine nuggets is not a tasty sounding thing. It's a little chunky. It's a
I'm
little
the
gross.
only one who likes wine nuggets.
Yeah,
We
you are
haven't been
literally
happy
the
with
only
it.
one.
Colin's been happy. They
Dr.
sound-
Coleman messaged and he was like, "It's nasty." Like he suggested maybe drops.
Dr.
Wine
Coleman's a
drops,
smart man.
Drops,
Yeah.
drops of knowledge, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wine drops is good. My mom threw out wine snippets. And I
nice.
think she said
That's
wine
fun.
morsels, which morsels to me is
It's
getting
getting back to nuggety.
Kind of nuggy.
it's
Kinda
getting
nuggety.
nuggety. So
Yeah, it's a little
snippets,
nuggety.
snippets or drops. Snippets or drops.
I drops. Drops makes a lot of sense. Drops.
Drops.
Wine does.
Dropping-
Wine does
dropping some
travel in
knowledge.
drops. It doesn't travel in snippets.
Okay.
Wine
Sure.
drops. Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that. That's
Great.
a fun spin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wine drops. Drops of knowledge.
Okay. All right, listener, you can come back, and we're gonna roll into one of our favorites here, some wine drops. All right, so going into it, of course, this is a little bit learning segment, a little bit just conversation, and it's a great time for us to just kind of dive in a little bit more into whether it's the region that we're in, the grape that we're drinking, some wine topic that relates to what we're doing. So, I'm actually kind of curious as we get into our wine drop segment here. I do find it kind of funny that we've all spoken very highly about going to Napa, going to Sonoma, having great experiences at these amazing vineyards in California. And then at the same time, that's where a lot of our kind of mass produced wine that we also sometimes talk a little negatively about will come from. So it kind of got me thinking, we have talked about how California is this great region for growing grapes. And we really, I think we are lucky here to have a region that lends itself to doing that. So Aaron, what, when we think about that, what is it about California? What is it about the climate, the geography that really does actually lend itself to being a really good area for growing these grapes to make good wine?
I mean, it's funny, right? Because we've also talked about how there's good wine coming out of other regions of the U.S., right? Like we were the Jersey wine we tried was great. The Texas wine, we were terrified of that when it came on the show, and then it was delicious. And even when you get into the specific regions of California, when we had a wine from L.A., our L.A. wine was great. So
Fantastic.
there's obviously this aspect, I think, to your point, where we kind of rag on California wine and love California wine at the same time. But there are aspects of the climate that make great wine, and it's the production and the over, just the too much of it that makes something not great. But when it comes down to California, they got the sun. They got the sunshine, right?
Sure.
That's what California is all about, and that's going to ripen the cab all the way. And, you're going to get that blackberry. You're going to get those dark fruits, and it's going to soften out the tannins a little bit. And so that's going to help. And it's not exclusive to California, but it's a big part of what California brings to the table.
That sparks a question in my head too, because even just on this episode, we have talked about our fears of this being this big, bold, crazy cab sauv that's, hits you in the face and is, way too much sort of a thing. And I think based off of our first observations, we're kind of surprised at how light this is and how different it is from those expectations. So yeah, I think we've experienced a little bit of both of these ends of the spectrum now on California cabs. I think I know where you guys probably lean on this, but where do you kind of feel when you compare this to something like this that's a little lighter, a little fruitier, to some of those bigger, bolder, heavier, more, oak influenced and forward wines? Where do you guys land, and kind of how does that shape your thoughts here on California cabs?
Guy was with you. I'm starting to formulate a theory, and I don't know if this is right, but I think when it comes down to bigger, more mass-produced, more available wines, I'm going to err on the side of the leaner, more restrained cabs. I love me a big, bold, oaky, over-the-top wine, but I think if I'm going to get one of those, I want to make sure it's from like a really love-infused, like small producer, so I know it's very intentional. So I think if we're going for this, if we're trying something like Joel Gott's, yeah, I want the more restrained, leaner wine. But
Sure.
that doesn't mean I don't love a big, bold, like hit you over the head with the oak. But I don't want to get
fair.
that on a million bottle scale.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. And for me, like personally, I don't love that big bold California cap. Like it's just really not my style of wine. So I'm always gonna go for that leaner style. Almost like honestly, I would prefer something out of Bordeaux in France as opposed to something in California, just because it is a little bit more refined. The oak is usually going to be a little bit more refined, not hit you over the head. So, I'm definitely more in that leaner style as well.
So that's like triggering things in my brain. It's hitting me over the head with some stuff. So when we talk about oak aging in California Cabernet, we know that there's this aspect of, and Colin, you've talked about this before, right? Like a lot of European places love shipping in American oak, and a lot of American places obviously love shipping in French oak. Is there any way to actually tell the difference there?
Yeah, I mean, the flavor profiles are very different. French oak is usually going to be a little bit more restrained. The vanilla is going to be a little more like fresh vanilla bean. You're going to get some more of those baking spices as opposed to American oak. And this is the way I experience it anyway. The vanilla is going to be super intense, almost like vanilla extract vanilla. And then, you can get notes of dill, which we don't often find because a lot of winemakers don't like that note. But, over in Rioja, you can sometimes find dill in your American aged oak wines. So everything in American oak is just going to be a little bit more intense, or a lot more intense, honestly. And, oak is used in a bunch of different ways. You have oak barrels, but then you have to remember, especially at the lower end, you have oak staves. They're probably not aging this in barrels just because it's cost prohibitive, honestly, with that many gallons of wine, that many bottles. It wouldn't make sense to use real oak. So you're using some oak alternative here, which I think a lot of the times is why it's not necessarily well integrated. It can be a little bit over the top. So yeah, for me anyway, it makes a huge difference whether or not the oak is American oak or French oak.
Do you want to take a guess at what this is in?
This would be, I mean, again, I don't think this was aged in oak, but if I had to guess the
Additive.
style, yeah, it's more, this is, for me,
It is
it's
aged in oak.
Oh, legitimately?
Can they lie?
No, they probably wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
But this is either like a really refined American or French. Like this borders for me because it's definitely not intense. So I'd be willing to call this French. You could get it past me there.
I mean, I think you have to go with your gut. You said American oak at first. It says 30% new American oak. How's it 30% oak?
So that's maybe also why it's more refined. It's only 30%. So you're not getting the full oak profile.
What is the percent?
The percentage of the blend is. So of the 100% blend, only 30% have seen oak.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh,
We just learned
that
something.
Is really
Drop
interesting.
of knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge is dropping down
Wow.
on us. Okay, so that's interesting. So in the blends, whoa, Joel, I think you and I are both having the same like brain aneurysm right now.
Well,
so they
totally. I mean, I've always imagined that the blending happens first, and then it all sits in the barrel, becoming friends together. But I never really considered that they would, treat one grape, one aspect of the blend a little differently before blending. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, and I'm getting that right off the tech sheet, by the way. So like that's
Oh,
not
okay.
even like an advertised like weird thing. It's like straight off the tech sheet for the bottle. So I mean, so you just named. So you think? I know blind tastings are incredibly hard, Colin, but like, you think as part of a blind tasting, you could identify the vibe, whether or not it is American or French oak.
I mean, I'd like to think I'd be able to, but if you listen to our blind tasting episode, you know how wrong I was. So, do I trust
only one.
myself to do that? No.
Hey,
Just
but
do
I
more
say
of this.
you second guess yourself
That's
today, but your gut, and you did this in the other blind tasting too. Your gut, you were like, this might be, it's like really refined American oak, and then you talked yourself out of it. But that was right. That was right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We're gonna do a
So
blind
maybe
tasting with
yes.
Colin.
I'm
He
gonna-
has to stick with the first thing he says every time.
I'm going to say
Can't
confidently
waffle.
yes. I'd be able to tell the difference between French and American oak. Let's go.
Nice.
Let's do it.
I love that.
Go.
There we go. You're halfway there.
That's that's right. All right, so we've talked a little bit about California Cab. We've tasted a little bit of California Cab. What are you guys wanting to pair with this food-wise?
Oh man.
I mean, I feel everybody's got to be thinking the steak, right?
100%. The classic pairing.
Yeah.
Let me challenge you.
Sorry,
though.
that's
What
like
be-
that's the fastball right down the middle of the plate. I'm sorry, but I'm taking it, baby.
What beyond steak would you want to pair with this?
So I'll say, I think something that is nice about this profile is that it's not super overbearing. Almost the thinness after the flavors allows you to kind of fill that gap with something else. So it's like this wine's profile isn't going to overshadow the food you're eating. So I wouldn't mind eating this with something that has a little more bang to it. So like barbecue, like maybe just getting like a lot more flavor on that meat and then pairing it with this would be pretty cool.
It's
Yeah, I
funny
don't
you
hate
said
that
that
at all.
because specifically, like grilled chicken with barbecue sauce, like barbecued with barbecue sauce chicken popped into my head with this one.
Yeah.
I want a
think that's a
pulled
good
pork
call.
sandwich, which is going to make
I
me
can
look like
see
the
that.
biggest tool at like the, at the tailgate. Have like this big like drippy, pulled pork sandwich and like a big glass of this wine, but like I'm gonna be the happiest person there. Like people
I
can
can see it
snicker
right
with their
now.
Bud Lights, but I'm happy.
I see you
love that.
fumbling around with like a wine key, just like barbecue sauce covered all over your hands, and you're like trying to get this thing out of there. I see it. I see it.
While holding my pulled pork sandwich like under my arm.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but
this is gonna pair great. Trust me.
I think that's great though because like there are rules to pairing wine and food, but rules meant to be broken. Just because like steak is the standard doesn't mean you can't go out and yeah, I know.
God,
Listen,
let James
They
Dean
call
up
it-
in this place. My
James Dean of food
God.
pairings.
Look,
is what they
I'm
call
also
it.
thinking about like we have talked a lot on the show about how do you branch out to folks about wine, especially people who aren't wine drinkers, and how cool would it be to be like, I'm gonna have you over. We're gonna be drinking some wines, and we're gonna do unconventional wine pairings. We're gonna have a barbecue night, and I'm gonna bring a bunch of wines to pair with your barbecue. So get excited! Like that's just
Yeah,
gonna
very
bring
cool.
more people through the door.
Love it.
Love it.
We're not just sitting there eating steak and mashed potatoes, which is great.
I like that too.
But this
Nothing
is
wrong
going to be a
with
less
that.
expensive
Yeah.
night for you.
All right. Well, love it. That was awesome. Really, I feel the only thing I feel better about than what I just learned in that segment is the fact that we're leaving this segment calling it Wine Drops, never to refer to it as its previous name ever again. You're welcome,
Or Wine
listener.
Nuggets?
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dr. Coleman, for the great recommendations on
I
names.
appreciate you very much.
Very much. So awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Always good to chat and learn a little bit more. Let's go ahead. Let's go back. Let's try this wine a little bit. Listener at home, it's probably been maybe not in your listening time, but probably been about 12, 15 minutes since we last sat and really talked about this wine. So let's revisit, give us a rating, and we'll be on our way.
Colin, has your alcohol burned off at all?
Not when you take a significant sniff. It's still, for me anyways, singes the nostrils. So
The funny thing for me is I'm still not having a big reaction to the alcohol, but I am smelling more of the mentholy eucalyptusy scent that you picked up at the very beginning. So
Yeah.
that's kind of breaking through, but not the total burn. But again, not in a bad way. It's just a little bit more prevalent.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you too. I'm not getting like a big burn, you know. I mean, I still think our notes from before still stand, right? It's like flavor. I think I've said this before, but it's like the fruit stripe effect where it's like lots of flavor for a sec and then it's kind of gone.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and about probably that same complexity, right? I'm getting too into my review here, but it's not a lot, but it's just pleasant. Couple of notes, and then it's gone.
No,
Yeah,
and I
and
and I think it's not gained to drinkability, but it's just like, or sorry, it's not gained to review. If the purpose is drinkability, this is I'm experiencing it as like a fast drinker as far as a red goes. So like it's going down pretty smooth. I'm not getting a lot of burn. I'm not getting a lot of like that heavy indigestion almost that you might get from like a big red. It's just, and that maybe that's just me being old talking, but like it's a smooth drinker.
And the alcohol's not super intense. I don't want to give off the wrong vibe here, but it is one thing that I notice when I take a smell of it. Equally, if not more than the fruit flavors. So it's not as though, it's like 15.5% and it really hurts when I take a sip or take a smell, but it's alcohol than all of the other fruit flavors. So for me, that's how I'm experiencing this one.
I am on the edge of my seat because I'm shocked by the.
Are you excited?
I am because I'm just shocked by
Yeah.
the lack of critique for this $13 to $15 bottle of wine.
Yeah. Well,
I had low
let's
expectations.
get into it
Joel.
officially.
No, nothing
I
personal.
did too. I was not lying when I said that I literally picked this because my name is in it, and that is the only thing. So I have no expectations on this. So I'm excited to see what you guys think. Let's officially get into it.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
Colin, I need to know what you're thinking.
Right in this
Where you
wine
placing
fridge.
This wine.
Right in.
No, absolutely.
Smashing other bottles on the way.
Absolutely not. Not even sniffing the wine fridge. Wouldn't even how dare you. Wouldn't even put it in the wine fridge to chill it. But
Wow.
Okay.
It's just got harsher.
Here it
than I
goes.
thought.
The gloves are coming off. Let's do this. Let's go.
no. That being said, this for me is a casual sipper. It's not terribly offensive. The flavors are okay up front, but they fade really quick, so you're not getting too much of an experience on the finish or anything like that. So to have this around and you want a cab just to sip, yeah, it's all right. It's I could see just milling around, cooking your steak or alternative barbecue and enjoying this. So a casual sipper for me. And at $14, like whatever. It's not You're not wasting a lot of money on it.
Love it. Aaron?
Yes, I am so grateful to be on this show because I think this is a really great example of something 2.5 years ago I would have drank and said, this is a good bottle of wine. And I would have brought this with me to a restaurant and I would have been so happy about it. And I think what I have learned beyond a lot of other things is the difference between a good bottle of wine and just like a tasty drink. Like this to me is just like, yeah, it's a casual sipper. It's fine. It's fine. It is an alcoholic beverage that is wine that is $13-14. That is not offensive. It is not terrible. And I would totally grab a bottle of this and toss it in my fridge and drink it around the house or have it as like if I'm having like a barbecue or a big party and I know there's people that are just gonna be like pouring stuff to drink, like sure, this is a great bottle to have if you have to buy like 5 reds and just have them sitting out for people to drink without any level of analysis or scrutiny. And so I think this is the definition of what we want a casual sipper to be. It is cheap, it is enjoyable, it is not elegant, it is not elevated, it is not incredibly high quality. Do not present this to your future fiance's parents. Like, but it is what it is. And so it's not offensive. We're not going to shit on it, but it is a casual sipper. Enjoy it as such. Enjoy your $14 wine.
It's funny. I was originally going to put this as a backup wine, but in my head, I was like, but I mean that in a positive way, if that makes any sense. Because I was like, this is something that I would be, there's a scenario where I'd be like oh, I have that Joel Gott. Let me get that. And it's sitting in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
pantry, right? But it is that exact scenario where there's like, we end up making some food that really complements this, and I would be reminded that I have something, with a little more of that, Cabernet feel to it, something to carry along in a specific dining situation. And like you guys are saying, like it's not bad. Like it's fine. It's a good drink. I
Yeah.
like how you made the designation too, Aaron, of, it's not good wine necessarily. Like I'm not like this is good wine, like,
No,
but it's a good wine drink.
This is the Yoo-hoo of chocolate milk, right? Like this is just, like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's just this is Yoo-hoo
So
wine.
true.
This tastes
It's a,
like
it's
wine.
a weird segment of mass-produced wine
It
that
is
we're finding here.
technically
We might have to
wine.
make its own thing. But so officially, I think that I'll go ahead and call it a casual sipper as well. I might be giving it a little bit of a nudge up. I think I could go either way on that one, but I do mean it in a nice way. So, yeah.
Can I lean into
Surprised.
something you just said there that
Please.
really resonated with me? I'm thinking about when people come over to like a party or people come to you and they bring a bottle of wine. And I've had people hand me certain brands that I go, "Ooh, thanks for bringing this," and it goes off to the side, and no one opens it, and then it goes, and that's like truly a backup wine. It's like this thing is gonna sit unopened until. Like, I'm not dumping it. It's not trash, but like, this is really going to be my last resort. If someone brought this to like a barbecue or something, I'd be like, oh, sweet. I've had this before. Like, this is not bad. Like this, yeah, like totally. We can pop this open. Like, cool. Like I think it's like slightly over that, that threshold of like, oh yeah, cool. Like whatever, but I'm not avoiding it.
All right. Well, listen, I mean, I think we're all pretty much in agreement here, which is pretty funny. Okay. Maybe we're not in full agreement here. We have to talk about this. No, I think we're all, let me not try to put words in your mouth, but please let me know if anybody disagrees with these statements. I think we're all pleasantly surprised, maybe a little shocked. I think we would all agree that this is not what we would want to set as an example of Cabernet if we were trying to talk to somebody and try to get them into wine or something like that. But as a couple of dudes who like to drink wine normally in their days, it's not the worst thing that we've drank.
Definitely. No.
Right?
No.
And I would say that it's not a waste of your wine.
No.
$14 for a enjoyable wine that you can get literally anywhere. I think that's an okay situation.
You are late. You were supposed to bring a bottle of wine. The only thing between you and the place you're going to is 7-Eleven. You kick down the door, you get a hot dog, and you look at their 20 wine bottles, and this is there. This is probably the one you want to grab.
That's a good way to put it. Do not bring this if you're trying to impress someone. No. But if you're in that situation, this is safe. No, it's safe.
It's safe.
This is not an example of high quality wine. This is an example of wine.
That's right. That's right. I think safe is a perfect term. Because that's what this is. It's not going to offend anybody. It's easy drinking. It's, for cab. It's not going to blow anybody's mind, but nobody's going to be like, oh, God, the Joel Gott. Just
someone might have that reaction.
And if they are, they can bring their own wine.
Yeah, it also, but it opens up a good debate. It opens up a conversation. You can be that person and be like, look, man, but let's talk about what this could be and what it is,
For sure. All right. Not to waste your wine. Don't seek it out, but if you're in
the
a
most
pinch,
casual of sippers,
the most casual.
Hey guys, before super casual,
super
this guy's
casual sipper,
basketball shorts and slides. Okay, this thing is this is casual. Hey, before we go, you guys want to do a quick game? Maybe a new game.
Sure,
let's do it.
New game, new game.
Aaron, you want to tell the kids what we're going to be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. We're playing a brand new game called Wine Vibes.
Wine vibes.
Wine vibes.
Jumping in on that, yeah. So, this show is all about just naming that wines have different purposes and who you drink with is really a huge part of it, right? It's not about the numbers. It's not about whether a wine has 94 points. It's about where you're drinking that wine and who you're drinking it with. It's about the experience of wine. And sometimes you got to talk to people about wine who don't know anything about wine at all. And so today we're going to challenge ourselves to sell this wine. Today's lovely Joel Gott 815 because of the birthday of their daughter.
Yep.
That's right.
I think
we're
this is
just
the
gonna try to give
perfect wine, by the way, to kick off this game.
It
with.
really is. And we're
think
going
we've
to
already
try
done
to
a
pitch
couple
this
vibes.
wine
Yeah.
as quick as we can in the least whiny, least snootiest way that we can. Just all vibes, no notes.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Joel, kick us off. No time to think. Sell us this wine, Joel. Go.
Listen, this Joel Gott 815 Cabernet Sauvignon is the wine you want in your hands when you want to hang out with some of your best friends and not have the wine be the star of the show. You want the good times, the conversations, and you just want something that tastes all right to carry you through that good time. That's when you want to be drinking this one.
Very nice.
I like that. I like that.
A wine not distracting from the conversation.
Don't want anybody talking about it at all. Just
We have
it's
other
there.
things to talk about right now. Don't let this wine distract from the bigger problems.
Yeah.
Love that.
Colin,
What do
you
you
ready?
guys got?
Yeah. No,
All right, Colin, ready? Sell me this wine. Go.
Do you want to impress your mom's non-wine drinking friends with a California Cabernet Sauvignon? Joel Gott. They probably won't hate it.
That's really good. I like how yours was legitimately like an advertisement
Sales pitch.
too.
I went hard.
You went
sales
right
pitch
into
on it.
marketing.
Yeah, I did.
And I just imagined my mom's non-wine drinking friends. I was like, yeah, you're right. This would be
He's
a
not
good
wrong.
one.
He's not wrong. Aaron, what do you got? Go.
Thank you. We'd all like natural fruit punch, but sometimes we take Capri Sun. We all like chocolate milk, but Yoo-hoo's just as good. We'd all want to drink a good wine, but sometimes it's just Joel Gott, and that's fine. Drink Joel Gott.
Wow.
Oh, you had a rhyme in there too. That was really good.
Boom.
That was a lot of
I'm
fun.
here for it. Do you think the fine folks at Joel Gott will pick up any of those and adopt
I don't
them?
think they're
or
gonna listen to our show,
Probably
no.
not.
can't
Okay. Okay.
No, but I do want to point out we don't hate your wine. We don't
No.
hate it. We just it needs
Absolutely.
to stay in its lane.
That's right.
Sure. Which I think it is. I think it's
is.
doing it.
It is,
At
for
14
sure.
bucks, it's trying to stay in its lane. It's doing its
You're
thing.
not trying to sell it for $25, $30. You're selling it for $14.
That's right.
It
It's
is what it is.
$14.
You sell it to 7-Eleven. It is
It
what
is
it
a
is.
$14 wine.
That you can buy at a gas station. Like
Perfect. There's another sales pitch right there. It's that's it. It's a $14
Eat gas,
wine
a hot
that you
dog,
can
and
buy at a
wine?
gas
Joel
station.
Gott.
What else do you want from me? Yeah. There you go. A bonus.
That's a good game.
bonus for the listener at home.
That
is
was a lot
game.
of fun.
I'm here
it's
for it.
It's pulling out the truth. It's what it is. It's just
That's great.
getting that raw emotion.
I love that. I love that. All right, listen. I think we need to wrap this up. This has been a lot of fun. I think we learned a lot. Our minds were blown a little bit. Pleasantly surprised. Had a lot of fun. Really great to hang out with you guys. Really great to hang out with you, listener, too. Thanks for hanging out with us and listening. Colin, if they want to chat with us, hang out with us, what's the best way for people to do that?
Yeah, check us out on Instagram. You can Google us, Stop Wasting Your Wine, and send us an email. cheers@stopwastingyourwine.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Hey, listen, thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. And thanks for hanging out with us. And we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.